ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाखया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन स्वयं रूपः कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकम्। I will just mute everyone because I'm hearing an echo. Namam Vishnupadaya. You can also repeat the prayers along with me. Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamin Iti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधार श्रीवास आदि गौर भक्त वृंद. Everyone can raise their hands and chant together. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Mukam karoti vachalam, Panghum langhayate girim, Yat kripatamaham vande, Shri Gurum Dinataranam, Paramananda Madhavam, Shri Chaitanyeshwaram, Hari Om Tat Sat. नष्टप्रायेषु अभद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवती उत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकी. Hare Krishna. So, welcome you for today's session. Today, actually, I wanted to go with one fundamental topic. What is the need for spirituality? So, I want to ask all of you first, what is the need for spirituality? Why do we need Krishna consciousness? Anyone? Because we are all practicing. So, anyone other than Lokamohan Krishna Prabhu who wants to answer, I'll go to him. Let's see if anyone else.
What was the question?
What is the need for spirituality? Why do we need Krishna consciousness? Why do we need spirituality for the matter? Let us talk very fundamental.
Spirituality, for coming out from.
You have to raise your hand first. Okay, you tell Amrita Sakha Prabhu. Let me change your name here. Yes, go ahead.
Spirituality needs because we for coming out from the three miseries, like mm, I
Okay,
forgot the name.
problems due to body and mind,
Uh, uh,
right?
yeah,
Due
bro.
to other living entities and due to natural disturbances. That is why you want this
Adi Devik Adi Bhautik. I forgot the names.
adhyatmic, adhibhautik,
Like,
adhidevic.
yeah.
Okay. Others agree with what he just said? Anangma is saying she agrees with that. Okay. Others? Anangmai also has something to say. Okay, let's hear from Anangmai, then I'll come to Robert Prabhu and then Lokaman Krishna Prabhu. Okay, let's hear from Anangmai. Let's hear first from Robert Prabhu, then we'll come to Anangmai.
I feel like the reason why we need spirituality is because it gives us purpose for our eternal soul to love Krishna.
Okay. Thank you, Prabhu. How many of you agree with this that Robert Prabhu said? Anangmai agrees with this also. And Amrita Sakha Prabhu also agrees with this. Okay. Let's hear what Anangmai has to say.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, I believe that there is a need for spirituality for many reasons, and obviously these two are reasons, but at the end of the day, I think the biggest reason is that if we do not take up to this, like, this movement, not just spirituality, but this specific movement of Krishna consciousness, in the future, there will be a time when if we don't take up to this now, then at some point or the other we have to. Because in this material world, we're only here to suffer. And to end that cycle of suffering, this spirituality is there to get out and get beyond this material world, the things that we are able to see, to go to the spiritual world. That is why there is this Krishna conscious movement. You said spirituality, but I'm speaking in terms of specifically this movement of the Harinam Sankirtan.
Okay. To go beyond this, the core theme was to go beyond this material world of suffering. Okay, how many of you agree with what Anangmai said? Robert Prabhu, is this your hand that was raised earlier or this is a new one? You have some additional thing to share? Okay, Robert Prabhu took off his digital hand. Okay,
Forgot to lower it, sorry.
no problem. Okay, Amrita Sakha Prabhu agrees with this. Lokaman Prabhu has not agreed with any of these. Let's hear what he has to say. Oh, he
Today.
agreed with all of them.
Yeah.
Okay, let's hear from Prabhu what he has to say. Okay, Robert Prabhu also agreed. Okay,
But I have something else if I allow
yes,
to
go
tell.
ahead, Prabhu.
Yeah, this actually spirituality is very much required to understand our real identity, that is our relationship with the God, and to come out of the worldly affairs and engage our mind to the actual mission. What is the actual mission of human life? That is spirituality.
Okay, to to understand what is the actual mission of
Mission of human life, that
human life.
we have to come out from these miseries of life and do sadhana to give the love of God, which will ultimately help us to come out of the chain of this birth and death.
So coming out of the chain of birth and death. That is what Lokamohan Krishna Prabhu is saying. Okay. So I think okay, it is in similar lines with what Amrita Sakha Prabhu and Anangmai said. Would you guys agree with what Lokamohan Krishna Prabhu said? Okay. We did not hear from two of our participants, Joy Prabhu or Lakshita Mataji. Would you want to add something? Okay. Probably not. Let's keep moving then. So today I wanted to cover this topic mainly because of two things. In the last few days, when I was hearing Srila Prabhupada, many times he says one thing that, okay, see, Srila Prabhupada is always stressing on one thing that we are not this gross material body. We are spirit soul. And Srila Prabhupada always says this fact that, okay, see, we are suffering in this material world because of our lost identity. Have you heard this statement from Srila Prabhupada?
Many times.
Right? Srila Prabhupada is always saying this. So I shared one presentation by His Grace Gaurang Prabhu. I don't know how many of you watched that presentation that I shared, okay, by Gaurang Prabhu. I wanted to take that and kind of summarize that, especially the core area, to talk about this aspect, because he goes into very deeper aspects in this, and I thought, okay, this may be something we all can look into. Many times, see, like also one other deeper purpose that I had is many times it is we if our purpose is not very clear, if we do not have a purpose behind what we are doing in what we are doing, then what happens is our attempts to move forward in the direction that we are going becomes very diluted. If we are very clear in what we want to do, then in that case, we become more determined in that particular purpose. Having said that, let me go ahead and share my screen so that we all can look into what we are talking about. I just wanted it to be more audio visual so that we all can go through this. So firstly, like coincidentally, okay, as you see, okay, Anangmai, Lukumohan Krishna Prabhu, then Amrita Saka Prabhu, they all talked about the pain of this material world. But in general, you know what happens? Like there are different professions outside, and in every profession, they are m- they are meant to solve some kind of a pain. If you see an engineer, they are supposed to, like a civil engineer is eases the pain of travel, an aeronautics engineer eases the pain of travel, right? Like whatever the IT software guy is doing enabling something, okay, which will ultimately help the user on the street. Maybe getting a cell phone software that will be better this, because 20 years back, I was telling my daughter 25 years back, like, okay, this video calling did not exist. I still remember, like, okay, way back, like, okay, in 98 or so, one news article came. And that time I was in India. I was doing my college studies. So in that news article, it said, like, okay, there will be a phone in which you can see other person. So we thought, okay, it's all bogus. At that time, this concept was not there. Maybe 96 or 98, like something like that. But nowadays, it's a reality. So that connection has been, and in those days, like, okay, those international callings were so expensive. Nowadays, it is, if someone has a Wi-Fi, there is no cost to it. So similarly, the doctor eases the pain of the body. Like, okay, Amrita Sakha Prabhu was telling about this Adi Atme. If there is a pain of the body, then the doctor is there to ease it. If there is a restaurant, if there is a person who is owning the restaurant, then that person is easing the pain of hunger of the people. But when it comes to spirituality, when people look at these places of worship, maybe temple, mosque, church, whatever, they are very confused as to why this is. And many times I have heard, like, okay, among you only, some of the devotees have told me that, okay, I'm asked this question, like, okay, why do you go there? In fact, like, okay, I have known people who are asked, why do you spend so much time there? What is the whole value? because they are not able to correlate with what pain is being resolved here. And this, because of this kind of ambiguity that is going on in their mind, they take this as a separate from all rational problem solving domain. Like, okay, they do not understand, maybe it is not related to pain, they're just doing something of their own. And many times because of this, because people do not know this, like when someone is being invited, like, okay, why don't you come to our class, then you may hear many people may say, I don't have time. Because they do not see that adding any value there. So let's understand this in the right context here. So there is an unseen pain, and as per the spiritual wisdom, like, okay, one of the greatest pains people experience is caused by a constant unpredictable change in our identity. Constant unpredictable change in our identity. Okay, so we'll come to what exactly is the identity. But when we are juggling in our different phases of life, right? Like our Amrita Sakha Prabhu just passed out. Now he is in the search for jobs, right? So it there is a this in this modern life, it is tied to an anxiety and stress. How many of you guys are able to relate to this? Please, I mean, let it be interactive so that I'm able to understand that, okay, you can you can correlate to this. Okay, so this is the core problem that spirituality is designed to solve. So now the real question comes is like, okay, so what exactly is the identity, right? So let's talk about that. So in this world, there are 8 types of identity that we juggle with daily. So, and so the first type is the body. Now think about it. The body, we are all like, okay, growing old, right? So our health is constantly changing. Our appearance is constantly changing. We may have looked very differently, okay, 10 years back, 20 years back, but now we look very different. Our physical condition is changing, right? And basically, if you just look at it, like, okay, many times, like, okay, there may be many things happening internally. If you go to buy, and just to give you an example, like if you go to buy fruit, right? Many times you may buy fruit and vegetables, and they may look externally very fresh, but when you bring it, when you chop it off, then you see, oh, it was totally rotten from inside. So similarly, we don't even know what is going on within the body, and many times, like, people are diagnosed with cancer or something, like, which they may not be aware of, like, which is happening in the body. So there is constant change that is happening. So the second thing is the partner. So nowadays in this modern world, okay, one is like, okay, we say that, okay, there is love at first sight and divorce at first fight. But then apart from that, the nature of the partners are also changing from time to time. There is sometimes happiness, there is sometimes distress, and it's constantly going on, like, okay. And there is always a struggle to keep the relationship balance, stability, right? And this causes a lot of stress and anxiety. Then there is this parent-child relationship. So in this parent-child relationship, there is an expectation. Okay, my parent has to be like this, or my child has to be like this. Oh, their parents do this way. So many times kids come and say that, okay, why don't you do this? Like, okay, I have seen their parents also do, right? There is a comparison always, and there is an expectation. And so, and many times you might see, like, okay, people, I mean, how the child is doing, the parent is constantly anxious, especially their exams, how they are doing, their grades, so many things, like where they are going to study, what kind of relationships, so many things tie back. Then the type of house a person lives, okay, that is a kind of a status symbol, okay, oh, what community do we live in, and that adds to that. Okay, you are staying in which type of apartment are you staying in? Which which city do you stay in, right? Like, okay, so many questions like this come up, like, okay, and we can understand that somewhere, if you may try to see, like, okay, our own self, like how we relate to this. The kind of fifth is the kind of possessions a person has, the kind of vehicle the person owns, in fact the kind of phone the person owns, okay, the kind of gadgets the person owns. The uh, person is known by that. That is one of the identity. Then there is the wealth. Many times we see in newspapers, like, okay, the net worth of a person, the financial status of a person, the ability of a person to create wealth. This is also a parameter. Then there comes the social status, how much a person is recognized or accepted or cancelled or whatever. My daughter keeps telling me there are so many things that are going on, like, okay, oh, this person has been cancelled. So this is another thing, that social status. And then comes the career. Yes. Oh, if this person is a lawyer or a doctor or whatever, like, okay, they are being looked at differently. Or if the person is, let's say, is just struggling to find a job, or is just barely meeting their ends, like, okay, that's how they are perceived. So all these are different identities that we juggle with daily. And if you look at this carefully, now, um, we may relate, like, if someone is in between jobs or they are struggling in a relationship, you might see that all these things, 8 parameters, are constantly changing on a regular basis. And a change to any of this gives us instability and gives us anxiety. So there is a constant attempt to keep this steady. And since we are in this material world, it is not going to remain steady. It is always, there will always be changes to these, at least one of these, and which will cause anxiety and stress. So now we understand that there is so much flux here, which causes such kind of anxiety, stress. So what do we do? Where does spirituality, like we started with the topic spirituality, where does spirituality come into the picture? So to answer that, the next thing that comes is, what is the spiritual solution? So the spiritual solution comes to what our Robert Prabhu started with. So there is a ninth identity. The ninth identity is that which Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita. What is that? That we are actually spirit souls. We are part and parcel of Krishna. And s- and and in the dynamics of this, if you look at it, this ninth identity is something which is constant. It is unchanging at all times. It is our pure consciousness. Okay, and the other eight im- other eight worldly identities may be important, but the thing is that they are constantly changing. We have to accept the fact that they are constantly changing. And anyone who is subjected to this, like who identifies with those 8 identities, they will constantly be in stress because they cannot be constant. We actually want, like, our nature is that, okay, we want the nature of the living entity jiva is comes from Supreme Lord, as we have heard earlier. It is Sat Chit Anand. Sat means eternal. The jiva wants everything to be constant. I need a permanent job, I need a steady relationship, I need steady finance, right? But that is not going to happen. Because we are in this material world. So this temporary roles and attributes of the material world keeps changing, but the fact that there is this ninth identity, that I am a soul, that remains constant. And by fixing our primary identity, that as the soul or as the Atma, we can find that this will give us stability, or what we call here as an anchor. So we already talked about it, that the body may age out. Okay, the body will, there will be diseases in the body. The wealth may fluctuate. Our job situations may change. Our careers may have challenges. Our financial status, our career status, they may all change. But the fact that we are soul, we are part and parcel of Krishna, that will not change. So, if that is the case, then if we are a spirit soul, then what are we supposed to do? Right? Like, okay, so how do I identify with my this, like, so so there is, it is, for every identity that we are, right, there is a corresponding action. So in this case, like for example, here if you see the doctor, like, okay, their job is to heal, the librarian's job is to, like, give the books. The If there is someone who is cooking, then the cook section is to prepare food. So similarly, like, okay, if if one is a spirit soul, the action for the soul is to connect with its source, the super soul, Paramatma. Okay, so the soul is is a spark of a fire, but the blazing fire is that powerhouse, Paramatma or Krishna. So that is the essence of dharma, or that is our eternal duty. That is why it is called eternal, means Sanatan, and this is called Sanatan Dharma. That means this is the eternal duty of the soul, that it has to connect with the Supreme. And so by connection, what happens? There is purity in proclivity. That means at all times, the souls, if the soul is serving with a pure desire to please, rather than like, okay, what they can get out of it, it is, if you see in the material world, the material tendency is, what can I get out of this, what can I get out of this? But the soul's nature is that, okay, what can I give, how can I serve, how can I please? That is the thing. In giving we receive. And then second one is stability in identity. So, in all times, no matter whatever is changing in our life, at all times, if we understand that I am still a spirit soul, I am spirit soul at all time, and I am part of Krishna. So I am under the umbrella of Krishna. The material situations may change, but my this identity, that I am part and parcel of Krishna, that I am a servant of Krishna, cannot be taken away from me. I am definitely part and parcel of Krishna. And what is the third thing? The third thing is consistency in activity. If I'm part and parcel of Krishna, then I have to be consistent in doing my activities of what is required, being part and parcel of Krishna. That is regularly performing actions that align with the spiritual activity. Because we may be trying to uh, please, like, okay, let's say someone in this material world. It could be someone's girlfriend, boyfriend, like, okay, this relation, that relation, whatever. But we are unaware of the fact, and sometimes that may disturb us. Oh, I was not able to do this, I was not able to do that. But we may be unaware of the fact that whatever we are trying to do, it's only a matter of temporary time. After some time, this relation will not exist at all. But our relationship with Krishna has been constantly been there. Krishna was there with us when we were in the mouse body, rat body, in the elephant body, in the lizard body, in the insect body, whatever. And Krishna is still there with us. So how can I regularly perform my actions that align with the spiritual activity should be our constant thought process. That way, what happens? We are actually thinking of Krishna constantly. What can I do in this situation? And there are, I was recently hearing from His Holiness Jai Pataka Swami Guru Maharaj. So he was saying something exceptionally well. Okay, so he was saying that, okay, there was one question that came to him. The question was asked that, Maharaj, like in on a day-to-day basis, somehow I don't feel okay. Um, I don't feel that connection with Krishna, and I don't know, like, okay, what should I do to have that connection with Krishna? So I don't feel taste of chanting. So Maharaj answered such a wonderful thing. He said, like, okay, see, there are two types of profession. In one type of profession, one is 24 hours doing service for Krishna, one who is full time serving Krishna, maybe a sannyasi, a brahmachari, a resident, temple resident. But everyone may not be doing that. Many people may be engaged in doing work outside of the temple. They may have to go for work, they may have to do some business to earn their living. But as long as, or many people may have to go and do studies, right? They may be a student actually trying to do some studies. Many people will have to cook. Many people would have to go and take care of, like, let's say someone is running a daycare, they are taking care of children. But as long as they are able to relate that, okay, this work, either I am doing it for Krishna, or I will give the fruits of whatever I am doing to Krishna. So if one is, what is the meaning of giving the fruits to Krishna? That means understanding that whatever I am doing, if I'm studying, then I will do my studies very well, and at the end of it, I will want whatever whatever is the whatever is the net result of this that comes out. I want to offer, like, whatever I become in my profession. When I start earning, I want to do some service for Krishna. If Krishna has given me, like, okay, skill in painting, I want to paint for Krishna. If Krishna has given me skill for uh, doing something in IT, then I will do something in IT for Krishna. Or if I'm not able to do that, if I'm earning something, I will give some of my portion of earnings to Krishna. So by thinking of either doing it directly for Krishna or giving the results of that for Krishna, we are trying to connect every activity to Krishna. And by that, we are being consistent in our activities. So, so what does it further mean? Like, okay, if we have to see that what would be a practical framework, and this we have talked about many times. What is the ABCD for the spiritual life? So the ABCD for spiritual life is, first A is association, that is surrounding ourselves with people who prioritize purpose over pleasure. Okay, what is the purpose of my life? Lokamohan Krishna Prabhu was saying this purpose, mission of my life. So, what is the purpose over my life? Many people live their life just for pleasure. Oh, I want to have fun. This gives me fun. Okay, let me do this. So, if that is our association, then we turn like that. But if we are in association with, like, okay, how do I prioritize this? Uh, ho- in what time can I, where can I see, like, um, in Bhagavad Gita, there is a verse that comes, Vyavasayatmika buddhi ekeha kurunandana. That means a spiritualist is just like a businessman trying to see how can I make, just like a businessman thinks, how can I make the most, get the biggest bang for the buck that I spend? Where can I get the highest return? So the spiritualist thinks that, okay, what can I do to give Krishna the greatest pleasure? What can I do to give Srila Prabhupada the greatest pleasure? That is that is a spiritualist mentality. That is the purpose that drives them. Books, that is reading Bhagavad Gita, reading Bhagavatam, and when we read this, use this knowledge as a GPS to define our life's destination. Many times, like, okay, I have many times stressed this, like, okay, these Srila Prabhupada books are so amazing. They are so much filled with nectar. I have been just reading this Srila Prabhupada's Lilamrit. This book is a determination injection, I would say. Many times, like, okay, with our tiny weeny, like, okay, situations, we get frustrated, like, okay, oh, what will I do in my life? But if we understand the kind of journey that Srila Prabhupada was leading and living completely alone without any association, it is not just mind boggling, but it is like it will give us the deepest inspiration that we need in our life. Thirdly, like I will give one example, like, okay, when Srila Prabhupada was in India, I did mention this example earlier. He was in Jhansi. At that time, he was cultivating so many youngsters, and he was in a place named Bharti Bhavan, which was given to him um, to use, and he was using that place, but somehow or other, that place, um, some uh, s- some political leader's wife thought that okay, it could be better to use it for some women's association. They could It could be a better inspiration for them to do some kitty parties over there. So uh, and ultimately, like, okay, all the all the people who got associated with Srila Prabhupada, like, okay, they did not have a place to stay there, and Srila Prabhupada had to move out from there. Srila Prabhupada at one point of time, this is when he was over 60 years. At that time, he was going by daily walk, miles after miles, to go publish this Back to Godhead magazine. At that time, it was only 4 pages, and he would personally inspect everything. He would personally prepare the content. He would give it for print. He would have to get the money to get this printed, and then he would have to proofread them, and then once printed, he would have to go and distribute everything, and whatever money came, like, he would have to go ahead and use it. And for doing that, he would go he did not have any other resources. He was the only person, and he did not have any vehicle or so. He would only go by walk, and he would go and sit in tea stalls, and whoever would visit there, he would go and ask them if they would want to have it. And many times, like, people, like, okay, who, if you would go house to house, there are incidents where people have come back and shoot him, like, go away from here. So they do not know that okay, the person whom they are asking to go away from there, that person is a Jagat Guru Acharya. So, and so much he has tolerated so much that when we understand from his life, it will give us immense strength in no matter whatever we are doing, little bit things that we are doing. So that is around the books. So third is C is for contemplation, spending quality time in daily reflection to gain clarity and avoid frustration. So where does this come from? This comes from chanting of the holy name. So, and then reflecting, that what are we doing? Where are we going? How is my connection with Krishna? How many times are we discussing with others that, okay, how my connection with Krishna is growing? Because in day-to-day life, we get so much carried away. We are just worried about our immediate things. Oh, my this thing did not go well, my job situation, my finance situation, my relationship situation. But how many times do we see how can I increase my connection with Krishna? This is something to think about. if we are not increasing our connection with Krishna, everything else like that we are going against, that are that are all temporary. I just had a reflection yesterday, means how Krishna is so kind, so merciful. I was just thinking on this fact. And just yesterday, I was on my way to work. So I was late for work. Uh, I have to be very honest, many days like, okay, I struggle with time and I'm running late. So um, I was just um, I had to host a meeting after reaching work, and I was just when I got into the road, I saw that okay, I will reach my work just 5 minutes before that meeting. So I was driving, and at that time, like, okay, um, I was singing the Narshing Aarti. So as I was singing the Narshing Aarti, I was singing and going, and suddenly the traffic started building up because there was something that happened, and there was a long traffic building up. It was so sudden that all the cars they started braking, and the car right in front of me, that person braked very fast. It was very hard brake he applied, and so I also applied the brakes, but I could realize that okay, because we were in high speed, it I did not have much space like okay to go ahead and there was not much gap actually so to go ahead and make the brake. So I applied the brake, and all this was happening in microseconds actually. So and I have an alarm in the car, so that alarm went out that okay, it's very near, and I knew that okay it was going to bang, and I at the same time I looked at the rear view mirror. There was a truck coming just right behind, and the truck was also in the same situation. So I thought, okay, today is my last day. Actually, all this thought, like, okay, was uh, I thought, like, okay, it is going to crash there. And as that was happening, uh, at the very end, I realized that the car went ahead and it braked. It was hardly like maybe 1 centimeter gap might be there. Same thing for the truck behind me also. At that much gap, it stopped just that. So when it stopped, I was thinking like, okay, I did not think that the car will stop like, okay, this and what happened. And all I did not realize was while all this happened, I was still singing the Narshing Aarti. Okay, it was like I was unconsciously singing the Narshing Aarti, and Narshing Dev is so merciful, so amazingly merciful. Although we may not desire, like, okay, Narshing Dev, like, okay, was very um, like out of his causeless mercy, like I was saved from there. Otherwise, it would have been a clear-cut crash actually. So I was just thinking, like, okay, even if we are unconsciously calling out for the Lord is so merciful. And what to talk about one who is conscious about when they're calling out for the Lord? This is s- it was really very much um, I would say a reflecting thing for me. Okay, how much crucial it is to take Krishna consciousness so seriously, because it may be just another day and death may be just around the corner, because we may see situations happening around us but we may not realize that the next moment might be ours, and we may hear all this Bhagavad Katha and things like that, and we may think like, okay, we want to live like, okay, I want to live a pain-free life, this that. But we may not have a life itself. So it is very crucial that we have to prepare ourselves for that moment. It could be this material world is such that okay, things are constantly changing, and at any point of time we may have a different situation right in front of us. So coming to the fourth thing, in the ABCD, we talked about A for association, B for books, C for contemplation, and D for diet. That is purifying our diet with wholesome food to increase mental clarity and spiritual awareness. That means prasad. having sanctified food, food that is offered to Krishna. So think about it. Everything that we have got in this life are being given to us by Krishna. We may think that no, no, I have earned it, I do it, things like that. But it is absolutely, Krishna is so kind that one who is not even a devotee, one who hates Krishna, Krishna still provides for them. That is how Krishna is so much tolerant. But for anything that we, it is just like, I always give this example. If we give, like, if I'm a student and if my father is just gone to take a rest, and somehow if I take $20 from his pocket and I order a pizza, and once the pizza is there and I eat it without informing the father, then what am I doing? Can anyone say? Yes, Anangmai?
Theft?
Yeah, it's a theft. And if I order the pizza, okay, and after the pizza comes in, if I tell my father, okay, you know what, I I took $20 from your pocket, but I ordered pizza. Let us have pizza together. Then what does it become? Anyone wants to raise hand and say, what does it become? Then in this, in the first case, what will be father's reaction? And in the second case, what will be father's reaction? Yes, Amrita Saka Prabhu, let's hear from you.
In the second case, Prabhu, father will be happy, Prabhu.
Yes, and in the first case,
He'll be angry, Prabhu.
yeah, father will be angry because son is doing theft there. And the second case, the father will be very happy that okay, at least my son thought about me. He will not think about like, okay, why he took the money and all that. So, so that is why Krishna is our supreme father. When we offer anything that we eat to Krishna, it will give him so much joy. After everything he is only providing, but when we offer it to him, then it will give him a lot of joy. And by giving him joy, we can all be purified. So, the ultimate goal is to transform our consciousness. That is why Prabhupada gave the name Krishna consciousness, being Krishna conscious, trying to remember Krishna all the time. So, the spirituality is not about like, okay, what profession we are. Let's change our profession, let's become a saffron cloth person. No, it is about transforming our consciousness. Okay, we all start from one place. We may have lust, anger, greed, envy, pride. We may not understand that we are not this body. That's all fine. But we if we want to transform our lives, if we want to make a difference in our life, then we take up to Krishna consciousness. And how does it start? That we have to hear. We have to hear about Krishna. If we are not hearing, then in that case we may not be able to transform. We have to participate in group activities, just like we have group japa, group chanting in the morning. When we come, we participate in that. What happens? We become part of the group vibrations. Alone we may not be able to do much. Okay, when we alone, if we are doing, when we look at the mala, it's like, okay, oh, I have to do this, some or other we do it. But if we come in group, we may think we are doing well. But when we come in group, like, okay, at that time we will be able to see others and we may be able to do much better. And so Arjun and Duryodhan, if you see, there's this example, okay, they were both warriors, but they had different intent. Arjun Arjun fought for Krishna, and Duryodhan fought for his own greed. He just wanted the kingdom. So it is the intention that matters. And what is by transforming our consciousness, what do we want to do? We want to purify our intention. So in everything that we do, what really matters is what is our intention. So it will take us, this Krishna consciousness will take us from the point of where we have only desires, okay, out of acting out of fear, acting out of desire, like, okay, or from that point of view, it will take us to the sense of duty, like acting for Krishna. We have seen, right, like, okay, what happens if desire is unfulfilled? It creates anger, right? So from what happens if we are doing anything out of fear? Obviously, we'll not get any joy in doing that, right? So from that, if we start doing as a sense of duty, then ultimately we will land into a place where we will have selfless love for Krishna. When we start acting as a sense of duty for Krishna, then ultimately we'll reach to that point where we will have selfless love for Krishna. And when we have selfless love for Krishna, it will automatically transform into selfless love for each and every living entity, for everything practically. We will be able to stay, when we are Krishna conscious, when we see each and everything as energy of Krishna, then in that case, we will be able to appreciate and we will be able to use those resources in Krishna's service. Or we can become an instrument in being leveraged in Krishna's service. So that is something I wanted to share, mainly primarily because many times, like, okay, I've seen we get lost, carried away in what we are doing. It becomes a monotonous routine thing, like, okay, let's go do something. Same thing, like, okay, we take our mala and we do something. But if we know what exactly is the purpose behind this, it is it's not that, okay, those who have been practicing for years, they don't need it. We all need reminders. If we don't have reminders, then we will get lost in the whole cycle. And maybe you all know this. And as I look into it, I feel that, okay, I probably need to just get this straight in my brain, gets straight in my heart. See, if it sticks in the brain, it is just at an intellectual level. But if we have to get this in the core of our heart in order to make Krishna consciousness as our life's mission, as our life's objective. We have to put this in our heart, in the core of our heart, why we are doing this, why we are doing what we are doing. If we read Srila Prabhupada's books on a day-to-day basis, if we are reading this because um, let me read this, I have 5 minutes time, that is one way, okay. Or they told me to read it, let me read it anyway. I don't like it, but just read it. Or I chant, okay, let me chant, okay, I anyway don't enjoy chanting. Then that is one way. But the other way to look at is, okay, when we are reading Bhagavad Gita, we understand we are associating with Krishna. We are associating with Srila Prabhupada. The Srila Prabhupada purports that are there. We are associating, Srila Prabhupada is opening us the gate to associate with all the acharyas. Whatever they have given, Srila Prabhupada is summarizing and giving it to us. And when we are chanting, this is our only time to get the association of Krishna. So, and do we really, I mean, if Krishna is that supreme person, if think about it, like, okay, you are working for a company, and do you really want to be in the dealings with your immediate boss who always chastises you? Or if you make a friendship with the CEO, then in that case, it doesn't really matter what this guy says, like, okay, the immediate boss, okay, the topmost boss is your friend. How many of you want to think that, okay, we want to make friendship with the real top boss? Would you agree that, okay, we want to make friendship with that boss, topmost boss? If
Yes.
right? So if we really want to make friendship with that topmost boss, then in that case, it is very, very essential that when we have the time to associate with that topmost boss, we take it with the topmost priority. Because if we give the if the CEO is there of the company and the CEO is here to hire you, and at that time like you are dealing with the sweepers, with the janitors, and like okay, you have kept the CEO also. Yeah, yeah, I'm coming to you. Yeah, okay, what is it? Oh, janitor. Okay, okay, and like this, that. Like, okay, you're dealing with 10 other people and CEOs also there. Would that be the right? Would that be the right thing to do at that time? So, if we want to really give the attention, then we have to chalk out our plan, how we want to see ourselves. Okay, and we should see how are we doing spiritually? Are we giving good time to our morning sadhana? Because that morning time is the crucial time. If we give our highest attention in that time, then in that case we can be successful. And to give highest attention to that, we have to sleep well. If we sleep in the middle of the night and then we are trying to wake up in 3 hours, then obviously we will not be having on energy to put for the for Krishna. The CEO is out there. Okay, I'm just trying to look. Okay, where is the CEO? Okay, okay, yeah, yeah. And somehow or other we want to have some conversation. Yeah, 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 yeah. But no, we, we want to give the best quality time. And and when it comes to Prabhupada's books, Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam, they are Krishna personified. When we value this, what that treasure has been given to us by Srila Prabhupada, then and then only will the mercy descend on us. If we do not value, we just want to be, um, I mean, we just want to do things monotonously. We will make progress, okay, but it will take us a long, long time. But if we do things with love, then in that case, we want to, as Robert Prabhu was saying, we want to have that loving devotional bond with Krishna. Then we will make the real progress. Then we will make advancement very quickly. So, with that being said, I'll conclude here. It's already 1 hour, and I just wanted to share this. I think all of you may know all of this, but like, okay, I just thought of sharing this because I thought this was very important. Like, okay, at least as I am as I am thinking through that, I feel that okay, it requires a constant reminder. Our mind is our mind is so deadly. Many times, like, okay, we may be dealing with so many things at the seventh floor of the building, but our foundation may be weak, so it can crumple on it at any time. So that is why it is very, very essential that okay, we have a strong foundation. So with that, I'll conclude. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Srimad Bhagavad Gita ki jai, Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Nitai Gaur Premanandi, Hari Hari Bol, Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubheva cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavibhyo Namo Namah. Ananta Koti Vaishnav Vrinda ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Nitai Gaur Premanandi, Hari Hari Bol. Any questions any of you may have, or any comments, or any suggestions, any corrections? We can take it here, or else we can conclude. Okay, if there are no questions or no comments, was this like, okay, yeah, Lokamon Krishna Prabhu? Yes, Prabhu.
Yeah, this is not a question, this is a comment. The topic, what we discussed, what we learned from you, it's really very, very nice. And whatever we have discussed, right from the continuous change in life, and then what should be the practical this form work. Though we have been listening in the Gorango Kuti, the class only many times, but today's your explanation, again the refreshing us, which really it is very, very helpful for us.
Hare Krishna. It is all glories to His grace, Gaurang Prabhu. And when I heard from him, I thought, like, okay, this is something I wanted to share with all of you. Hare Krishna. Anyone else has any question or anything? I just want to ask, like, okay, was everyone able to relate with this? Like, okay, what we talked about? Maybe you can just show your thumbs up. At least I know that it was relatable. Okay. Hare Krishna. Thank you very much, all of you. Hare Krishna. You can all unmute and say once Hari Bol and bless me.
Haribo.
Hari Bol.
Hari Bol. Hare Krishna. Shri Prabhupada ki jai. Jai Gaur Premanandi. Hari Bol.